in the early part of the 20th century, Sacramento was pioneering, 1895, in fact, the last century, Sacramento was pioneering electric power, and it was hydroelectric power generated from Folsom. And it was generated by the Folsom Development Company and the Sacramento Gas and Electric Railway Company. The latter was the service that delivered the power. The former was generated and operated the dam. The power company that was formed here in Sacramento, and mostly Sacramento investors, was sold in the early part of the 20th century into a merger of power companies that would become known as Pacific Gas and Electric Company. And they would operate the facility for a number of years, and in the I would think probably about 1921 or so, the city and local residents decided they ought to have public power. There ought to be public ownership of power. And so a struggle ensued in the legislature for the creation of a utility district known as SMUD. And then once SMUD was created, a struggle ensued as to what they would pay PG&E for the system, because they would take it by condemnation. And so while that was being argued out, which took many years to resolve, SMUD was looking for a second dependable source of power. And the city of Sacramento had some water rights up on Silver Creek, and they would transfer those water rights to SMUD, or allow them to be reassigned to SMUD, giving them the source of water. But then they needed the money to build the dam. They were fortunate enough, or dams, they were fortunate enough when the Roosevelt administration came in during the Depression, when they're in their program, their alphabet of programs to try and bring the Depression to an end, they were willing to employ people by creating great public works projects. And so they funded the construction of the dam at Silver Creek. And now SMUD had its own dam, and eventually they would have the grid that was PG&E. Unfortunately, the powerhouse at Folsom, the Folsom powerhouse, was cut off because the federal government had built Folsom Dam, the dam we know now, cutting off the old powerhouse from a source of water. So that powerhouse ceased to exist as a power supply source. So SMUD then was dependent on Silver Creek, which has been a very reliable source of power for it to this day.